Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I'm in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, and I'm at the actual Pagosa hot springs, the source of the springs, which you can see behind me. And it looks like it's built up, but it's actually the natural hot springs, and they just built the building around it to protect it, I guess. So I'm going to show you around this area of town. Here's a close-up of the springs where it's coming out and coming down, and it's very strong mineral. You can smell it quite a bit, the mineral smell to it, and it's creating this huge pool here. And here's a plaque that tells about it. Maybe a little difficult to read. And here's part 2 of the legend, as they say. Built around it is this hotel resort complex. And here is a big board that tells about the hotel buildings. If you can read that, it sounds like this is what they used information to justify building the hotel, I suppose. It is a pretty nice place they have here. Got this fountain and a large size chess set, and over here are 3 greenhouses. This is where the mineral hot springs water flows down into this river, and they told me at the office that this mineral wall used to be very small, and it just keeps growing a lot every year. And you can see how they built all these pools around it here, and there's pools up there, and over to the left is more pools that the hotel complex has built. You have to have a pass to get into the pool area, which is free, I guess, if you're staying at the hotel. Otherwise, you can buy a pass just for the day, or maybe it's even by the hour, I'm not sure. So anyone can go in. The pools and their private area goes way down there, and you could also go into the river if you like. There's a guy there at the river. There's a couple there. And this is the San Juan River that goes through downtown Pagosa Springs. They have restaurants nearby, of course. There's one right there. And they also have this concrete walkway here that they call the San Juan River Walk. So you can walk all along the river. Of course, the river at this time of the year is not very impressive with it being so shallow. I'm sure the spring here is a lot more exciting time to come and see the river. So it is quite a lovely setting here they've built up, and they have this walkway across the river to get to the hotel complex from the city street over here. And imagine how nice it would be in the winter to spend your day here in the hot springs. They also have a snack bar here. It's a nice place. This mineral spring buildup here is quite amazing. Look at that. This sort of looks like a beach area along the river, but it's very rocky. Maybe in the spring when the water comes and stirs things up, it gets a little smoother. There's a little birdie watching the river. It's another shot down the river. Along the river walk here, they have these restrooms and what they call the geothermal greenhouse partnership. And this right here is a seating area for special events, I suppose. They put on certain times during the year. This tells about the greenhouses. This is further down the river where there's another footbridge across it. And here the river walk continues on the other side of the river, because on this side is a road that goes right along the river. So here's a wide view, and look at this, in the middle of the bridge they've got pots. they grow some kind of plants. Got one here too, not growing anything, but take a look at this wide view of the river there and the hotel resort over there. Oh look, we got some ducks here. Nice. And about a mile or so down the river is Yamaguchi Park, which is dedicated to the Yamaguchi family. And there's a lot of people here on a weekday, late in the day, probably because it's right behind the Pagosa Springs High School there. Looks like the kids here are playing soccer. Boy, that looks like fun, doesn't it? And the park is right along the San Juan River here. Hey, a little bit of a waterfall there. Here's a better view of the river. I was hoping to find a place to park here tonight, but I guess not. Here's some more scenery along the San Juan River, just a little ways east of the Mineral Springs Resort I showed you earlier. And this area is known as Hippy Dippy Hot Springs. I don't know anything about that, but that's what it says on the map. Hippy Dippy Hot Springs. I don't see the hot springs here though. I'm going to look around. Got a nice little waterfall here. That may be the Hippy Dippy part right there. And some water is coming out of that pipe. I'm going to take a look over there. Yes, I think I found it. And I think Hippy Dippy means you don't have to pay. It's not blocked off. This bridge is over Hot Springs Road, right off of the main street through Pagosa Springs. The water is fairly hot, and you can really smell the minerals in here. Well, folks, I went to Walmart. I wanted to stay there tonight, but turns out the Walmart in Pagosa Springs has a pretty strict no overnight parking policy. I went to customer service, and the guy there told me to go to City Market because they allow overnight parking. Seems to me to be an interesting marketing plan. You got your own grocery store and you're telling your customers to go to a different grocery store. But here I am at City Market. So this is where I'm going to do my shopping tonight. Give them my business. And oh, I see there is a Mexican restaurant here. I think that's where I'll have dinner also. And I found something else interesting in their parking lot. Next to City Market is Camino Real Imports. And they have an aquamarine colored flying pig. Don't see many of those. And they had several horse sculptures made out of tin or some kind of thin metal. And there's also one in the circle here. This is also some kind of a metal sculpture. A cowpoke riding his horse. There's another nice one. And I guess this is a buffalo. And over here is some more. And naturally, along with the horses, is a couple dinosaurs. They got all sorts of things here that are imports. Here is a, looks like a Spanish guitarist. There's a cactus. Another horse. And this looks like a ram. Got a windmill. And this sort of looks like a vulture. Not sure. This is kind of amazing. They even have a crucifixion. And all sorts of pots. Colorful ones too. A colorful chicken and a white whatever that is. They got an elephant. Big sunflower, I guess. And if you find something you like, I bet you could get a really good deal here. Good day, folks.